Hi guys, welcome back. New Zealand 42, Ireland 19. What a great game. Ireland will be thinking, what if? But what if doesn't win games? Really clinical execution from New Zealand and some big defence gets another win at Eden Park. Now, Ireland start off attacking really well, and their attack wasn't a problem really all game. They got plenty of good attack, and that's why they're probably going to be so disappointed in themselves. To start with, 5 minutes in, they're attacking tight to the ruck, but they're offloading in and out of the forwards and switching sides. It's pretty clever stuff, and there is a try straight away when from these phases they work Earls in out wide on the right. So that's 5-0. Ugly conversion from Sexton. Sexton was definitely not looking great, had to go off after that. Barrett kicked well, which is an interesting one because many people are doubting Beauden Barrett's kicking, so good for him. And an interesting note, in that first exchange, New Zealand weren't slowing the Irish ruck speed, and that's probably one thing they'll want to improve. Ireland did get plenty of good ruck speed. We know that's one way to beat Ireland, but New Zealand were obviously fine without doing that anyway. Then again, another big momentum moment for Ireland is a big smash on Sam Cane from Ringrose. And to be fair, I think Van der Fleer and Omani probably outplayed the New Zealand counterparts in the back row, but there were lots of other big performances from New Zealand. But that's something to think about. Maybe Papali'i starting next time. Who knows? Can they drop their captain? Anyway, New Zealand counter-attack. They're very dangerous. But Ireland are actually playing a pretty clever kicking game, and there's plenty of space in behind the New Zealand defensive line, which is pretty interesting, which they're spotting. Peter Omani, like I say, has been absolutely fantastic in these opening 10 minutes. Then another big momentum moment, but it's for New Zealand this time. 13 minutes in, Toinga Fassi and Bauer get the nudge on in the scrum, get a penalty, but then Ryan steals it straight back from the line out. So 15 minutes in, and really New Zealand haven't fired a shot yet. Ireland playing that clever tactical kicking game. Van der Fleer all over the place. They're trapping New Zealand in their own half. So this is a great start for Ireland. Away from home in Eden Park in the first test, this is how they wanted the first 15 minutes to go. 18 minutes in, and we see the first decent attack for New Zealand. Ireland's defence looks aggressive, it's looking pretty decent, but we do get a touch of class, and it's a circle pass from Sam Whitelock, who did a couple of those, and he had a really good game, real classy. They work Fainganuku free on the left, who goes close, and then Geordie Barrett with a massive line goes flying over, and they nail the kick. Beauden Barrett nails the kick. So they go ahead after 18 minutes, even though Ireland will feel they've probably had the slightly better of it. But the first bit of class, and they go over. However, the New Zealand defence is pretty well coordinated as well. Ireland still have plenty of attacking phases, but they're starting to get a bit less change for it. But Van der Fleer still working his magic, pilfers New Zealand ball, keeping them under pressure. Then, probably the big moment of the game. It's about half an hour in. It's finally balanced, but you'd probably say Ireland looking slightly better. It's the first meltdown for Ireland. Ringrose and Lowe just go too desperate to get the offload. When they've got good attack, they don't need to do it. The pass goes to ground, and Rees just hooves it up, goes the length of the pitch to score 14-5, an absolute killer blow, which Ireland basically never really recovered from. And Sexton goes off, although to be fair to Joey Carberry, he did great when he came on. Van der Fleer still on fire. New Zealand trapped in their own 22 still, but they're up on the scoreboard. Ireland's handling errors just mean they can't get some scores after that try from New Zealand. If they'd got straight back into it, maybe it would have been different. But yeah, they make a few mistakes then, and things just start to go downhill from that try from Rees, really. It's a high ball in play time. Long stretches of play. It was a great game to watch. It really was open. They were turning down kicks at goal all over the place. Really exciting stuff. Then we get the second Irish meltdown. Gibson Park tries to snipe out of his own line instead of just clearing the ball. He gets counter-rucked, turned over. There's a clever little stab-through kick from Beauden Barrett that stands up for Tapia eventually. He goes over 21-5. Killer blow. Two meltdowns in New Zealand. They're almost out of sight. And then the floodgates open. New Zealand doing their own good stuff now, getting good go-forward attack, which they hadn't had a lot of. Rieko Ioane making some good thrust there, and he played well all over the place. Rieko Ioane in defence as well. razor sharp spot from Smith, sniping break down the middle, chip and chase, slaps it backwards to Ardi Sevilla, just clever thinking, a little bit of luck, but he follows up to score, and they're out of sight really at half-time, 28-5, Ireland, they're in big trouble. So the second half starts, and Ireland have to get back into it straight away. And they do. Some early penalties, some line-out mauls, Van der Fleer, a crazy powerful thrust up to 1 metre. He just looked class. What a great player he is. And then an amazing offload from Lowe to Ringrose, who dives in at the corner. Those are the two guys they kind of mucked it up to let one of the tries in, so they kind of make up for it there. So it's 28-12, top conversion from Carberry. Can they get back into it with another try? But it's the All Blacks that score next. They turn down some kicks at goal, which I think is pretty brave. I thought maybe they could have just stretched their lead by 3 points, but it pays off eventually. Ardi Sevilla just wades through the Irish centres, both the centres, too much power and pace, and just waltzes over. Pure class, lethal stuff, 38-12. So that's a blow to Ireland, who just thought maybe they got back into it. And there's been no problem with Ireland's attacking pace and ruck speed, so they go back to that. Carberry's really making it tick well. It looks like Carberry is squeezed through, but can he ground the ball? No, and my goodness me, Ireland went over the line a number of times not grounding. Hint of high tackle, but no. There is an offside penalty, so they run it. Great offload from Omani. Is Van der Fleer over? No. Rico Ioane dislodges the ball. He saves 2 tries in that set. Killer blow to Ireland, they don't score there, and I think that there is the game. Now, a bit of a funny moment, Soakula comes on for his first touch for the All Blacks, and terrible fumble, it really is a bad one, but he makes up for it with a try. New Zealand, they're looking coordinated, they're looking pretty comfortable now, to be honest. Set piece is going well, they're on top in the set piece, they're probably on top in the line out as well. They've really turned that set piece around. Solid scrum, and Soakula goes flying over. I think he actually wins a line out before that, but he goes flying over from the base of the scrum to get his try to make up for that fumble. 42-12. Then a slightly funny phase of play where Soakula comes on for his first touch for the All Blacks, fumbles the ball, which is a bit of a problem, but then New Zealand, they're looking composed, they work their way up the field. Soakula takes a nice line out, they then get to a scrum, good scrum. I mean, the New Zealand set piece had really started to turn the screw on Ireland by now, actually really turned it around from the beginning. Solid scrum, Soakula picks up from the base and goes flying over, 42-12. The game is over. To be fair to Ireland, the last 5 minutes, they come back in, but 8 minutes, it's all Ireland. They really go for it, grind down. Porter looks like he's gone over, held up, of course. They do get over eventually with Aki with a great out-to-in line. Carberry was playing well there as well. So, yeah, they finish strong. They nearly go over again, but they do get a turnover to New Zealand, and they get the win, 42-19. Where do Ireland go from here? Well, there's plenty of positives to take away from it, but they know they could have been really close in this game. For the All Blacks, some clinical scores, some good defence, turned around that set piece as well. There'll certainly be a few signs there that they are a bit vulnerable, that Ireland are a classy side, but that's a big win. They're massive favourites now to take this series, if they weren't before, of course. Anyway, all the comments below, really enjoyed that one, and I'll catch you next time.